The final half of the year is here, and that means I need to pick a TBR for the rest of the year. I like to sit down in July and just make a list of some books that I'm really interested in. That way you guys have an idea of probably things that I'm going to be reading in the final half of the year. Especially because I'm such a mood reader that my goals from the start of the year to this point in the year drastically change. I have a bunch of categories. My patron Nat suggested this for this video, and I'm going to, with you guys, literally look at my shelves and give you an answer. First thing that pops into my head is the answer you're getting. I think this way I don't have to like plan and think about it, and you'll just see like what I'm actually excited to read. The first category of what I'm putting on this TBR is a final book of a series. This one's easy. There's two answers actually. I really can't wait for Burn of the Everflame, which is the last book in the Kindred's Curse saga. I gave books 2 and 3 5 stars. I'm obsessed with this. This is the next big fantasy romance. If you like ACOTAR, if you liked Fourth Wing, if you like Serpent on the Wings of Night, pick this series up. It's so good. And push past book 1. I don't like to say this very often, but book 1 was mediocre for me. I gave it a low 3 stars. I thought about a 2 star for a while. To give book 2 and 3 5 stars and think they're some of the best books I've ever read. Like, they're so good. I don't know what happened there, but like something switched. It got so much better, and I cannot wait for this final book, this final installment, to see how this is all wrapped up. The other final book that I really need to get to is Shadow and Storms by Helen Schuer. This is the last book in the Legends of Thesmar series. It came out in June. I'm really excited to see how this journey ends for Wilder and Althea. I love Wilder Hawthorne. He's a brooding little MC, and Althea's got some spunk to her, and I really enjoyed this series, and I love when I can binge a completed series, and I binged this series this year, so I need to finish it out. I need to like cross the finish line and probably cry at the book hangover I'm gonna have once this is done. Next on the list is a book that's been on a previous TBR that you still haven't gotten to. This is an easy one. Again, I have 2 options for this. The first one is The Storm Beneath the World by Michael Fletcher. I think I've put this on every TBR for the last 3 months, thinking this is a 5-star prediction, yet not reading it. I blame my fantasy romance mood because this is an indie epic fantasy matriarchal society that I'm really excited about, but I've just been in such a romantasy heavy reading mood that everything else is getting pushed away. But I need to get to this before the end of the year because I think it could be on my top 10 list. I just like love the cover. I've read from this author before. I know I like his writing, so I'm intrigued. But I have another one. Blood Sanctuary. I think every second TBR this month I've said I'm going to read the next Bella Roth. I want to continue the series. I love this series. I love Leo and Cassia. It's vampires in an epic fantasy world, friends to lovers, a sweet cinnamon roll love interest that has my heart. Yet I have not gotten to it. Honestly, I think it's the size. But if I at least read part 1, I'll be proud of myself because this book is so big that they split it into 2 books. This is part 1 and part 2. But I know that I will eat it up as soon as I start reading it. You know, size doesn't matter, it's how you use it. And these use it well. Because I know I need to read them, my next category is book box. I only have 1 for this category. Okay, I'm being good, but I need to read Nectar of the Wicked, which came in my Fairy Loot romantasy sub. I didn't think I was gonna like this, and then I've been hearing people rave about it. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be whimsical. Turns out it's like enemies to lovers, really good banter, and I'm really excited, and I own this like stunning edition, so I'm really glad I didn't skip it because I was really close to skipping it. But Erin from Booked and Busy was raving about this, and so I need it. I need to read it ASAP, right? Like it just has to be done. And because I only have 2 Fairly Romantasy subs, I would like to not fall super behind on these, but I'm more likely to read this one than the other one. So this is on my list. My next category is anticipated release, and this one's really hard to narrow down. I think I'm gonna put Clown and Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo. I gave book 1 and 2 5 stars, so I'm obsessed with them, and I'm really excited to read this 3rd book. Hopefully it's not the final. I'm hoping that we just get a million of these Clown and Cornfield books because I really enjoy them. There's always a lot of good meanings to these stories. There are some deep discussions on politics and stuff while having a slasher vibe that I really enjoy. Because I'm me, we're gonna put a second one on, and Air by Sabaa Tahir comes out in October. She is the author of the Ember and the Ashes quartet. I love this series. I would recommend it to everyone. I think it's a perfect YA series for adults. And I believe Air is actually set in the same world as this. Someone don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. But either way, I'm really excited to dive back into Sabaa Tahir's writing. These were so bingeable. I loved them so much that I can't wait to see what she packs into her new story. I believe it's also just a duology, which is kind of fun. The next category is a sequel. Really easy for me because my most anticipated book of the year came out like a week ago at the time filming this, and it's Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is the second book, the middle book in the Powerless trilogy. I loved Powerless, gave it 5 stars, one of my favorites of last year. I think Reckless is going to give me that same vibe, so I cannot wait to read this, and I have to read this in the final half of the year. Next up, we're gonna do required read. I always have lots of these on my channel. I should tell you the next Throne of Glass book, but I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm putting Road of Bones by Demi Winters on this. This is a Viking fantasy romance that I'm excited to read, and I have to read it because I'm co-hosting a book club in August where we're reading this. I will leave Melissa's channel down below because she is who's hosting the book club. I'm just joining it, and I'm really excited to discuss this. I believe Mel from Melanor Reads is also joining us. This is outside of my typical fantasy romance comfort zone. I've only ever read one Viking romance before, and it was A Fate Inked in Blood, so I am excited to try this one as well. So yeah, that's my required read that I have to get on. And our final category is a freebie category, but I can only pick one book. I have to only pick one. I'm not allowed to pick multiple, but it can be any book on my shelf. This is hard. Oh, I think though I'm gonna go a little bit wild here, and I think I'm gonna put The One by John Mars. I'm looking for another thriller to just give me the vibes, the 5-star vibes. There's always a thriller or horror on my end of the year favorites, and I think The One could be it. I loved The Passengers by this author. I enjoyed The Family Experiment. I've heard really good things about The One, and I'm really excited to read it and hoping that I will love it and it can be on my top 10 of the year. If you haven't already checked out my best and the worst of the year so far, I'm gonna leave that video on the screen for you. I would love to know your books for the categories down below, or just a book that you're really excited to read in the final half of the year. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a bee emoji for Nectar of the Wicked, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.